Okay, here we go. Welcome everyone. It's me, Patrick, your favorite YouTuber. It seems I've been doing so many live streams that I'm wondering about my job description, but I'm very happy to be back here. I hope we're live on all the channels. I think we are. Yeah, I can see us live on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. So thanks for joining. It's the week after the Cardano Hackathon in Berlin, which we organized as NMaker, and it was a great event. There's been many months of planning involved, and today we're basically here to talk to one of the winning teams of the hackathon. I'm gonna bring them up right now. So welcome Adam from GeroLabs. Hello, Adam. How are you today?
Hey, Patrick, good to see you both online and in person. It was a
It
pleasure.
feels like yesterday. I can't
Yeah,
believe it's been 4 days already. So
totally.
good to see you again. And we not only have you on stage, but we also have our representative from IOG on stage. So let me bring up JJ. JJ, how are you today? And where are you?
Hello, we're doing great. We're in warm and sunny Buenos Aires. We're at the Park Hyatt, which will be the meeting place for all the delegates to the Cardano Constitutional Convention. So it's a little preview for those that will be invited for the convention later on in December. So thank you for having me, Patrick.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining so spontaneously. So let's begin maybe a little bit by talking about the hackathon. Adam, you've been at the hackathon. Maybe can you tell us like a little bit about it? And since I'm here, I'm sure you'll only say positive things. But be harsh. Tell us all your thoughts. How was it?
Absolutely. So I was lucky enough to participate in the hackathon and also win. It was me and my team. We were 3 people, and as someone who worked in tech for a lot of years, and I've participated in conferences, I participated in hackathons. I can absolutely say that this one was definitely from one of the probably best ones I've participated in. It was very organized. It was also in lovely Berlin, and I love Berlin as a place. And the people were awesome. I was a little bit afraid at the beginning. The crypto Twitter can look very different than the actual people that are building and you interact with and stuff like that. And you know what? Every person that I've met there, both from the organizational point of view, you guys as organizers and the participants and the other teams, it was absolutely a blast. It was really fun.
Thank you so much. I mean, that sounds amazing. I think for us the main goal was to have kind of this mix and this introduction into the Berlin Web3 community as well. We chose the Web3 hub as like the place where we have the hackathon, and I have to say it really worked well because we had a lot of people from Solana, from other ecosystems participate, and they essentially just came and were interested in what we're doing with Cardano, right? So they were very open to it, and I think it was really good to just say, okay, look, Cardano is here. We're actually doing something on Cardano. We're actually alive, and not just on in our own bubble in crypto. So I think it worked out really well. So thank you so much for participating. Obviously you were one of the winning teams in one of the 3 tracks. So can you tell us maybe a little bit about the track that you decided to join and why that track?
Sure. It was actually a kind of a debate between the judges and ourselves, because our idea, which I presume I'll talk a little bit in more details soon, it involved both zero knowledge, but also things that are related to non-custodial wallets on Cardano. And because we don't necessarily develop on Midnight, which was part another lane, another on the track for to participate in, we still were in a lot of discussions with them to even discuss the idea, which was cool by itself, right? Because the Midnight team was there, and we talked to them about the idea. And yes, it involves zero knowledge, and it involves kinds of information to obfuscate certain information and keep users anonymous. But at the same time, it's actually a blockchain agnostic, so it doesn't necessarily need to be developed first on Midnight. But following this hackathon, we will definitely be in touch with them. They actually reached out, and they were very helpful. That's another thing actually to discuss. The judges and the people that came from Cardano's end, from Midnight, from IOHK, from Emergo, they all participated with the teams. They were very, very mindful and conscious about everyone's ideas and giving tips. And with the Midnight team, we actually went into technicalities about how to implement the idea while the hackathon was going, which was a bit stressful on one hand, but on the other hand, it ended up being great because we bounced ideas back and forth with them, and it probably helped us to implement like a good solution as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic. That was really the goal. Midnight was there with a whole team of people. It was their first ever hackathon, so they were really excited to actually, give out Midnight to people there and see how they react and see how they also like figure out how it even works. No one knows how to build on Midnight right now, so they have to dig through the documentation and learn it and experiment it, and that was really important for the hackathon, so that we say, okay, anyone can participate. Doesn't matter how good you are at coding. Obviously, we have very experienced teams here, like GeroLabs and also JPEG Store and Michele from FluteTS. But then we also had a lot of beginners, which was really cool because they came in and they had like some ideas and wanted to just experiment and see if it's possible. So I think it was a really, really good mix between all the different teams. So Adam, before we jump into what you've actually built, I want to give a little bit of the spotlight to JJ, who's here struggling to hold up his camera. JJ, how are you feeling? Why did IOG decide to support this hackathon, and what were your impressions from across the world?
Yeah, well, it's an important moment before we get started with the rollout of Midnight mainnet, and it's important that when we are ready to launch, there are teams that are excited about it and they know how to use the technology and they're ready to build amazing apps and tools and infrastructure and wallets and all sorts of stuff that will actually make this into a proper ecosystem that can service all sorts of different chains. And that's really one of the goals here, is that obviously it's going to build on Cardano, and it's always going to be part of Cardano as a service layer. But it's time for the next generation of blockchains where you've got real meta chain identity, and you're really trying to tie various networks together rather than trying to steal market share and network effect. So with teams like GeroWallet here, we're very excited to see people thinking outside of the box, thinking creatively, coming up with great solutions, and it's a very exciting time. And I think we're going to look back on this as one of the first really successful engagements with members of the community and teams. We've never tried something like this before, and we're very happy with the EndMaker team. I've gotten lots of great reviews from everybody that attended, so the EndMaker team is to be commended, and the winners, including GeroWallet, are to be commended as well. It's very exciting. So congrats to everybody involved, and hopefully we can do this again soon. What do you think?
Of course, I want to do this as soon as possible. I mean, we can do this every weekend if you want to.
Every weekend. Ooh.
But no, it was amazing. So I'm very, very happy with the results. I completely agree with everything you said. And, obviously we have a lot of Cardano events around the world with Rare Evo and the Cardano Summit. And for us, from a strategy perspective, we also said, okay, we do not want to compete with any of those events because they're all doing a fantastic job. So we want to do something different. And we thought, okay, there's nothing in Europe. There's nothing specifically for developers. So why not have a hackathon in Europe and make it a little bit more tailored towards onboarding and educating people that want to come into Cardano, want to come into Midnight. And I think we did a good job. I didn't really do much. The team did everything, but they did a great job. So I'm very happy about it. So back to you, Adam. Let me put you on screen. Yeah, so maybe, now it's the time for you to just talk about the idea and what you've built, and also maybe about your relationship with Gero Labs. There's a little bit of history here that maybe a lot of the viewers aren't really familiar with. So tell us everything that you want to tell. If you want, you can also share your screen. I don't know if you want to, but
yeah, I will. I probably will. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, me personally, I've been in crypto and in Cardano from kind of the middle of 2021. I think one of the projects that actually even pulled me into Cardano was Unsigned Algorithm. That was like the NFT that got me.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really OG. It was really cool idea on chain and everything, and it actually that's where I've learned a lot more about the ecosystem. I'll admit that I have a friend who is an SPO. He pulled me in and he tried to sell me the idea that we should do an NFT project, and I obviously immediately told him, like, why would anyone purchase images? That's probably a classic conversation between people. But as soon as you understand, the blockchain technology and stuff around that and how to provide value, it becomes more than just images. And along the years, we did have a project. It was called Music Box, a very OG project as well. It was a music algorithmic project, and we were in touch with GeroWallet, the original team. Even back then, we did some collaborations with them, and last year they approached us, and we decided to kind of do a partnership, and we were the development team that created Cardano Shield on their behalf. It's a Catalyst proposal that won in Fund 10, and it was a security extension for wallets, and it's still actually going. We're in the 5th milestone right now, and from there we essentially over time, as a team, we decided we should do a full merge. So I'm serving now as the CEO behind GeroWallet and managing the product and the UX and the UI. And we have a development team, and we want to make more than just a wallet that holds NFTs and tokens. And this is where the hackathon, the idea that we created is actually manifesting. So we want to do things that are more than just a non-custodial wallet while staying a non-custodial wallet, which is it's very ambitious, but I'm starting to think that we are able to pull this through. So the idea itself that I brought to the hackathon is something that I've been brewing for quite a while now, and we've been in talks with other financial institutions that are very not Web3. And I think that as we progress and as crypto is being more and more accepted by institutions, there is a major factor that kind of crumbles the crypto ethos. And it's basically about the KYC, the not staying anonymous, that people can track essentially what you're doing. And it's very, very against, if you would ask people who are very invested into crypto, they would say that in no way they would like to interact with any banks and stuff like that. They would like to be their own bank. It was also Gero's own slogan for a very long time, still is actually on the website. And it's rightfully so, right? And with zero knowledge also being quite an interesting topic by itself, we thought it'd be a good idea to probably combine between the two. And this is where what we called zkFiat. And I was also honest enough in the hackathon to say that this is something that ChatGPT helped us to put together. So it's zkFiat, and the catchphrase for that is the future of confidential compliance.
Sorry, please continue. I just put
I
this picture of you, the team, discussing with me actually, and on top. But please continue.
Yeah, this was actually a great moment where, and the second day, in the first day, it took us probably 5 hours only to think about the solution. Like, we haven't wrote probably a single line of code at that stage. And the planning itself, in theory, the idea sounded amazing, and everyone was on board. And we told it to the judges, to the Midnight team, and to a lot of people before that. And everyone, we kind of got like an approval that this is a good idea. Now, from taking this to an idea to do something within a couple of hours.
So tell us, like, what is the idea? Because you
Yes.
mentioned zkFiat, but what is zkFiat?
Yeah. So because you showed the picture, I didn't want to share my screen over
No,
that.
please do.
I can maybe share my screen, and I can show what I presented in the hackathon. And another kind of a comic relief in the hackathon, I was hoping that I can see my speaker notes while I am talking. And there was something, unfortunately, I didn't prepare. And when I put the thing in the full screen, I couldn't see basically my notes, and that was very stressful. But fortunately enough, I prepared enough beforehand, so I knew roughly what to say on each slide. So let me start by saying basically what is the problem that we're trying to solve. And essentially, like I mentioned, everyone today that interact with money in general, they need to go through a KYC process. It's obvious why. They want to prevent fraud, money laundering, and it's basically it's a regulation that will never probably disappear from the world, and it's something that is a necessity. After the KYC, the initial KYC, however, there is probably a place to transact anonymously, because right now anything that you would do, you need to probably do a KYC with your bank. You need to do a KYC with some sort of a centralized exchange, maybe even a few of them. When you want to purchase ADA, you need to do, I don't know, with MoonPay, you need to do KYC with MoonPay. So your ID, your name, your surname, your address floats around probably across multiple institutions. And that's kind of the traditional finance. That's how it works right now. And what I'm writing here as well in the screen is saying that for blockchain technology to gain widespread adoption, there needs to be a seamless way to ensure regulatory compliance without sacrificing privacy. And that's basically the whole point of this idea. And here, essentially, I'm kind of joking, like, why would anyone know that I swapped ADA for euro to buy a Lambo? Nikola Tesla said this in 1902. So yeah, right now people face kind of a dilemma where, on one hand, they really want to play through what crypto is all about, and that's about a new financial system. It's a financial system that doesn't necessarily can track exactly who you are, what transaction you're doing, who you're voting for in the governance, but it's all very transparent on the blockchain at the same time. So basically what we propose is a solution where there is not a single source besides the user that holds all the information and can allow for this to play out. Now, I'm not going to go into, I'll show maybe a short demonstration of how like a back-end, front-end interaction kind of looks like. I can do that in a few minutes. And essentially what happens in a high level is, imagine you have a user. Inside the non-custodial wallet, you have a bank that is white labeled inside, but it's there. It's built in a way that the wallet can't see any information that goes between the user and the bank. And there's ways to do that, technological ways to achieve that. It's very important that the non-custodial wallet, and I'm on purpose not saying GeroWallet but specifically because I imagine this will not be something that only GeroWallet will do. But any non-custodial wallet that wants to have this kind of feature, it has the potential to create it. So what would happen is the user and the bank will interact. The user will go through the KYC process with the bank. The bank has the user's personal information, and from that they basically create what in the zero knowledge world is known as a proof. And it creates a proof that the user went through the KYC process, and it sends it back to the user, and it's going to sit on his local machine, basically, this proof. The proof is some algorithm, some mathematical equation, basically, that the result of that, as the bank needs to verify, is basically a true or false. That's it. Now, at this stage, the non-custodial wallet doesn't see this interaction. It doesn't have the KYC info, and it doesn't have the proof. Only the user has the proof, and the bank has the thing to verify the proof. However, when the proof is generated, what the bank needs to do is basically tell the wallet to give it some sort of an ID, an account ID, a bank ID, some sort of a hash, just so we can create at the same time. In here, I use the term user ID and bank ID. So I'm going to receive, let's say, a user ID from the bank, and then GeroWallet, or the non-custodial wallet, is going to create a bank ID that is related to this user ID. And this is how the magic basically happens, where no one knows exactly who's who. So I'm going to obfuscate basically the user ID with a new ID. And with this ID now, this is what I'm going to interact with the bank, or basically the user. Any transaction or deposit or withdraw or swap that he's going to do that involves the bank, it's going to go through this bank ID. And we do that because also in Cardano, you can send metadata in the transaction. And that's basically how I'm going to interact with the bank. So the bank doesn't have the relation between the user and bank ID. I have the relation, but I don't know who the user ID is because I don't have the KYC info. But the user has all of this information. And this is how we kind of keep the ethos of crypto, where the user is kind of in charge of everything. And the reason we also chose to do this is because we also believe in a use case where you can hold a certain amount of ADA that is probably, you're not comfortable probably holding it all in the wallet. The reason that Cardano Shield probably won the fund in Fund 10, and the reason that it's being used in 2 wallets right now, is also that there are a lot of scams happening, even if it's very classic scam methods. It's just classic phishing, impersonating, installing a Trojan on your computer and obfuscating your wallet address with a different wallet address. And those things still happen. And we believe that if you made a good move on SNEC or Husky token, for example, and now you're a billionaire, you probably don't want to keep these billions on your hot wallet or even with a cold wallet. And I know of a lot of people, and I spoke to a lot of people. I spoke to a lot of projects that are handling vast amount of money on the blockchain, and they would be a little bit more comfortable if it would be under some regulatory institution that money is also insured, and it's holding basically everything that, for example, in this case, the European Union is expecting from a bank to the way that they regulate their users. And in this scenario, we basically allow for this to happen. Your money is being safe in a bank account that is regulated, that is insured. At the same time, the bank can't really track, besides the initial KYC process, he can't really track what you're doing because everything is being generated with a different bank ID that the bank doesn't know about. From his perspective, when a transaction happens, so this is a little bit more technical, so maybe actually I'll show that instead. So I'm gonna share my whole desktop for a second. And I cleaned my icons from the left side. I only left heroes because that's I can never find this. But basically, this is what will happen. So I have a few things open here. So this is the new wallet that we haven't released yet, but we're basically working on a 2.0 version of the wallet now. So we created like a branch. You can see it's running on my local host just for this proof of concept. I have a server running here on the right side as well. This acts basically as the bank server for that matter. And this is the backend of the wallet. And I have a bit of code here running in the background. And basically what's going to happen, I'm going to open the zkFiat. Imagine that this is a way nicer UI for the bank, and I want to deposit now ADA into the bank account. So when I'm going to click deposit, I can type in how much I want to deposit. And when I do that, a few things happen now. So on one hand, in the bank side, I basically receive that an anonymous GeroWallet user requested a proof for verification. I'll admit that this is like a hard-coded message, but this is not. This is essentially the proof, the original proof that the bank created for this user. And at the same time, in the same request, the proof has been verified for the anonymous user. And you can see here what we see on the GeroWallet end. Basically, what the user sees is that the bank verified that the proof is okay, that the KYC proof is verified. The bank account ID, this is the bank account ID that GeroWallet creates for the bank. And now the transaction was created. So if for the more technical people and even less technical people on Cardano, essentially once we receive the proof, only then we create the transaction, we build a transaction. And in the transaction, we can see essentially the metadata is going to be sent to the wallet, and that's how the wallet can know to what bank account to deposit the ADA into. And here, for example, you can see this is the proof that was received. Like here, you see from the bank. So you see it's happening. Everything is happening locally on the machine. Now, how I probably should clarify a little bit the thing with the ID and what the index is. So I'll stop the share and I'll reshare again. Just just this. So essentially, why this is important: the user and the bank ID. So once the user ID is created, this is how the bank can essentially track the proof that he created for this user. When a new transaction happens from the user and it goes to the bank, it's going to go through the bank ID that I mentioned, that the bank doesn't necessarily know. So the way we think this should probably play out, and there might be a better way, but in terms of the time that we had, we found that this could be like the most generalized solution, which again, I'll explain a little bit more what that means. So imagine this bank has just one general ADA wallet. That's like the public wallet, and any non-custodial wallet that interacts with this bank, the users, if they want to deposit ADA, they will use this wallet. So all the money will funnel into this wallet. And this is where implementing good metadata in the transaction, that's why it's very important. Because in the metadata, I can tell the bank, you need to deposit this money for this bank ID. Now, if it's the first time that this is happening, the bank will look at the metadata and will say, I don't know this bank ID, but I know that it's coming from a user that went through the KYC process. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send the ADA to a new wallet address. And from this point forward, I'm going to basically create a database or an index that says that bank ID is related to this ADA wallet. Now, this still fulfills the zero knowledge part, because while the bank ID now has a connection with the wallet address, you still can track backwards who it belongs to, because only GeroWallet knows who the real user ID is for the bank. And this actually solves another problem. And again, this is like very, very ambitious and probably gonna take quite a lot of meetings with various people in government or in the financial system. But imagine that we can solve this way, that you only need to do one KYC ever, and then all the other institutions can use that KYC data. because from their perspective, most of the institutions, they don't invent their own KYC process. It's probably it's third parties that created like the flow, right? That you need to take a picture of yourself, you need to turn your face left and right, everything that the form that is being filled, etc. So imagine you can make this only once, and now you're KYC'd with any institution because you have the proof on your local machine, basically. So this is kind of the next level to take this zero knowledge idea and merging between Web 2 and Web 3, essentially. And what I'm also talking a little bit about in this slide is how this is a win-win situation for everyone. So on one hand, you have what I called enhanced privacy. So you stay compliant as a user, but you don't disclose your information all the time. You only need to disclose it once with the bank, and we already agreed that this is an inevitable step if you want to swap fiat and crypto. From the institution's perspective, they are staying, they have the compliance, and they can confidently accept basically the processed transaction because they generated the proof in the first place. And for Cardano, I would advocate that this is like a classic Cardano use case, especially if Hydra is around the corner. That this needs to happen fast, and it needs to be the uptime of this needs to be absolutely 100%. Anything that failed transactions and stuff like that happens on other chains, probably I never heard of yet happening in this model. And because Bitcoin is also a very popular cryptocurrency, Bitcoin using UTXO as well is just adding, it's just an added bonus to the popularity that this might achieve if this is used on Cardano. So yeah, so this is basically the solution. We would love to develop this fully at one point. Like, this is now something that we're actively working on. I've met very interesting people. There was also another project that won that I assume you're going to speak with, that they created a mechanism to remove your KYC information, basically. So I'm already in touch with them, and we can see how this can play out in the wallet as well. And yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, so to summarize, basically, from my understanding is you're saying you're using zero knowledge to make completely anonymous top-ups and transfers to bank accounts, which of course is brilliant, because that's what crypto is about. And I think it also plays very much into this idea of midnight, right, JJ, where you say, okay, now we finally have a blockchain where anonymity and privacy is there and given, even though it's still compliant. So I think it's a very, very good fit, everything.
That's exactly right. And wonderful presentation, Adam. Thank you. And I think this is what Charles has called in the past regulated value transfer protocol, is that if we can figure out a way where the transfers are compliant but confidential to most people in the world, then you can start to use blockchain to do a bit more business. And this is one wonderful solution along the path to creating that protocol. So congratulations, well deserved. It's a beautiful presentation, as I said, and I can't wait to see what you guys do next. This is really wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. I think we're already at 40 minutes now, so we should wrap it up very soon. As I said, the idea of this live stream was basically to give you a little bit more presentation time, because at the hackathon, of course, we only had 4 minutes for each project, and we had, I don't even remember how many projects, I think like 16, 17 different projects, so quite a lot. But of course, you as the winning project, you should have the chance to talk about it in more detail. So thank you so much again for joining the hackathon, and thank you JJ or IOG and Midnight for sponsoring. I think it was a really good event, and I hope we can do it again very soon. If you have any last words, any of you, feel free. Now's the chance.
Yeah, I'll let JJ.
He's about to kill us, Adam.
JJ is good at last
No, I'm
words.
kidding. I'm kidding. You know, thank you so much, Patrick. This is wonderful. I was excited to have a moment to watch in real time and to be able to express our appreciation for you and for GeroWallet team and for all the builders that attended the hackathon. It takes a whole huge community of people to really make this into something special. But I do think that we're on the cusp of creating a blockchain that could survive the coming wave of regulation. Because if we can't work with regulators, then they're going to try to crush what we're doing. And the rights and privileges and everything that this technology enables will go out the window if we can't figure out a way to be compliant for certain activities. So thank you for helping build that future, because it's necessary. The alternative is a dystopian, you know, CBDC, no privacy preservation, nothing. And it's a huge mountain to climb. So thank you for taking a couple of the steps along the way to preserving those rights.
Yep, thank you so much. And like I said, this was inspired exactly because of this this notion where you don't necessarily need to beat them. It's actually better to work alongside each other, try to find a solution that matches, you know, everyone's ethos and philosophies. And I think we are starting to crack that down right now. So yeah, so thank you so much for the opportunity. It was absolutely a blast. We still need to win Luca from your team in table tennis. He
Luca bet all of the GeroWallet members one after each other.
I was
They had
close.
no
I was
chance.
close. I was only 1 point away. But yeah, that was great. So we need another opportunity, Patrick. So please, you and IOG find another country in Europe. Let's do another hackathon and make
I'm in
sure
on the next
there's a
set of
table
games. I
tennis
love
there.
table tennis. So
Absolutely. Next time you have to join. Okay, great, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for your time and showing us everything again, Adam and JJ, of course. Have fun in Argentina. It looks amazing. I'm very jealous.
yes, sir. Will
Greet
do.
everyone.